I'm having a look at Monster Manor on the 3DO. For those not familiar with the system, the 3DO was actually made by a couple different companies. There was a Panasonic model, and there was a model made by a company called Gold Star. And there may have been one other as well. But it was an interesting system with an interesting history. It was initially a competitor to the PlayStation. It was a 32-bit system, released around the same time. But it ended up losing the battle and kind of going extinct. But a lot of the early games are games that were also available on the PlayStation. And apparently there were some things that the 3DO did better in terms of processing. I actually own a physical 3DO. This is being played on an emulator here. But I have an old 3DO, but it doesn't work anymore. Every time I try to boot a game, it just gives me a disk read error. I did not buy it when it first came out and was really expensive. I ended up picking it up in a pawn shop with dirt cheap games after it was no longer widely available. This is an interesting game here. It's, I guess at its heart, it's kind of a Wolfenstein clone. It does have some interesting visual things going on, though. I'll be honest, the main reason I like this game is because I follow a YouTube channel where the game's creators play it and talk about it. The channel owner's name is, I believe, AWAC, and he and another gentleman actually worked for 3DO, and they look at a number of games for it, and probably other systems as well. And it's really interesting to hear industry insiders telling old war stories. But anyway, this is, I guess, technically less complex than Wolfenstein because you do only have this one. that ghost is just part of the background there. You only have the one weapon throughout the entire game. It's kind of a electrical zapper, if you will. But visually it's more interesting. There are some interesting transparency effects. And when you look at those Grim Reaper guys, the animation looks almost like claymation or something. So it's kind of neat just to look at. And while kind of simple, I do find this game somewhat addictive. You're basically just going around a maze, collecting gems for points. I believe you get an extra life when you reach a certain score. But there is a very limited amount of keys and ammunition. So especially in later levels, if you don't, that's just kind of thrown in as part of the background to startle you. In later levels, if you explore in the wrong, I guess, order, you end up running out of keys or ammo. So there is a bit of challenge involved. We do have a handy map here, if I can remember how to access that. That will tell us which areas we've been to. But yeah, this was done back in the days when the developers did a lot of their own voice acting and even character modeling in some cases. I like the interesting little set pieces here, like the rocking chair that's moving by itself. That looks like a dressmaker's dummy or something. Where am I going? Okay. So each key opens one closed door. It doesn't matter which one. But there are some doors that are kind of a waste. They just don't lead anywhere important. So again, in later levels, you do have to be aware of that. Yeah, I like the way these guys look, the way they move. It's kind of funky, but kind of cool at the same time. There were a few other first-person shooters available on the 3DO. There was PO'd, which is also available on the PlayStation. See, here's a door that would kind of waste a key to open because it just leads out into the same hallway. Oops, didn't see that guy. That's the sound of relief. I have to say, the protagonist in this game has kind of a girly voice. It's all part of the charm, though. Anyway, as I was saying, PO'd was also available on the PlayStation. I think the quality is comparable. And then I believe there was Doom, and there was one that incorporated FMV video called Killing Time. There may have been a port of Wolfenstein as well. I really like the sort of warping effect when you kill those guys. Like they're kind of winking out of existence there. It's funny with those floating heads. In AWAC's video, he explained how someone made a math error when programming those things so that there was no limit to the number of snot strings or whatever it is that they're shooting at you. So those things can kill you very quickly due to a programming error. That gold thing I picked up was part of the medallion that you're trying to collect in this house. Basically, once you collect that, it's just a matter of finding the exit. So the early levels are pretty generous with the ammo and the keys, but not so later on. Oops, I got one behind me. That's what AWAC was talking about in his video. There's kind of no limit to those, I don't know if they're globs of vomit or what, but as you can see by the skeletal hand, I almost died there. Oof. And I'm almost out of ammo as well. Oh no. I need to find some more ammo very quickly. You can actually close doors behind you, and I don't think the bad guys can open them. So I'm going to do that here. Here we go. Here's some more ammo. It's a little annoying having to do all that backtracking because the later levels are very maze-like. Might have been kind of cool if the weapons sort of recharged over time. Oops. Oh, you got me. You can't actually hit that ghost there. Where? Oh. Okay. After you shoot him a certain number of times, he turns into a regular enemy and dies. So that's the first level. I'm going to go ahead and edit here and show you a little bit of a later level. Okay, this is a couple levels later, and we're just in this sort of creepy red-roomed mansion. And we have jumping spiders, and we have ghosts that make weird wailing noises when you shoot them. Oh, these things are vicious. I hate these spiders. You can only shoot them when they're jumping. There's only a frame or two of their animation in which you can do any kind of damage. Not sure, but I think those wailing ghosts there are holding knives. and I kind of like them. They have a lot of character. I like the way they swirl out of existence, and I like the transparency effect. That's something they definitely couldn't have done back in Wolfenstein's day. And by the way, I will include a link to AWAC's video in the description of this video. It's kind of a long-running series, but in my opinion, it's definitely worth it. I think he basically plays through the entire game while delivering anecdotes about working for 3DO. Whoa. Yeah, those spiders are tricky. You can waste a lot of your ammo fighting them. Oh no. I think if I approach the spider, he'll start to drop down, and when he's in midair is the best time to shoot him, other than when he jumps, so I'm going to try that. Ooh, got him. Of course, this being an early first-person game, you don't have the ability to look around or to jump or anything like that. Those things all came later with titles like Quake. This game is also before the day of 3D polygons in first-person shooters. I like the wall textures. They definitely add a bit of atmosphere. Kind of a decrepit old mansion feel. Something like the first Resident Evil in a way. Oh, the spiders are annoying. Jump, damn it. Ugh. Yeah, this game can get spicy in a hurry. You can save between levels. I think I edited out the part where I finished the first level there, but yes, you can save or load. It doesn't give you any statistics as far as like secrets or what percentage of enemies you killed or anything like that. I have to say the cornering is a little bit cumbersome on this one. For example, if you walk past something and you have to turn all the way around, it feels a little bit sluggish. It takes long enough that you could get stabbed in the back. I enjoy playing this game in small chunks, like maybe a level at a time or so. As I mentioned earlier, the enemies cannot open doors, so if you're low on ammo or something, you can close a door behind you. Oh, hello. I think the enemies are always somewhat aware of where you are when you're close to them, but they can only follow you so far. They don't take the corners very well in the mazes. Ugh, all about timing. Okay, that's this level. I think I have a later level saved, and I'm going to go ahead and load that up now so you can see what that looks like. Okay, this is one of the later levels, and it takes place in kind of a catacomb underground. This is where things start to get tricky. This is very, very maze-like, very big maps. A lot of spiders and other difficult enemies. There are a lot of dead ends as well. So you definitely have to refer to the map often. Ugh, nasty little things. The other problem I have with the spiders is that sometimes their animations seem like too fast. It seems to vary based on what else is going on screen. Okay, well I think you get the gist. I'm going to go ahead and cut this video off here. Again, this is Escape from Monster Manor on the 3DO. Kind of an interesting early title. Definitely worth a play if you're a fan of Wolfenstein type games. Thank you very much for watching.